Top 5 most athletic plays in NBA history.
Jones, extra, Hardaway, one dribble, short. Oh, Jones! Skywalker!
Now you got to get something here.
That's Deng on the left side. Oh, right as Rose way up. Rocks it in Atlanta. Derrick Rose.
Basketball has always been a game built on incredible athletes, with players pulling off things that seem to ignore gravity on a nightly basis. But every now and then, someone does something so explosive that it stops the entire building cold. A smooth move can make you nod your head. But a truly athletic play hits a little different because it makes you question what the human body is even capable of, leaving the defender, the announcers, and everyone watching at home completely stunned. Over the years, the NBA has given us thousands of unforgettable highlights, and mixed in with all the smooth handles and clutch shots are the moments where a player simply rose up higher or moved faster than anyone thought possible. The kind of play that gets replayed for decades, no matter how many times you have already seen it. Some of these happened on the biggest stage with everything on the line, while others came in the middle of an all-star weekend where the best leapers in the world were just trying to one-up each other. Players like Vince Carter, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James gave us moments that had the entire basketball world jumping out of their seats. Today, we are going to count down the most jaw-dropping feats of athleticism the league has ever seen, covering the top 5 most athletic plays in NBA history. Number 1. Vince Carter jumps clean over a 7'2" center. Our number 1 spot goes to maybe the most athletic single play the world has ever witnessed. And the crazy part is that it did not even happen in an NBA game. On September 25, 2000, Team USA was facing France in a group stage game at the Sydney Olympics, and Vince Carter, who was already building a reputation as the most explosive dunker on the planet, was about to do something nobody had ever seen before. The Americans were comfortably ahead when Carter jumped a passing lane and came up with a steal in the open floor. He took a couple of dribbles toward the rim, and standing directly in his path was French center Frédéric Weiss, who was a full 7 feet 2 inches tall. Instead of going around him or pulling up, the 6'6" Carter spread his legs in mid-air and jumped completely over the top of Weiss, throwing the ball down with everyone in the arena frozen in disbelief. The French media immediately named it Le Dunk de la Mort, which translates to the dunk of death, and it has been called the greatest in-game dunk in basketball history ever since. The wild part is that Carter said afterward he did not even realize Weiss was that tall in the moment, and only found out what he had done when his teammates told him afterward. Weiss had been a first-round pick of the Knicks who never played a single minute in the NBA, and he joked afterward that at least everyone would know his face now. The United States went on to win the game and the gold medal, but this one dunk is what people still talk about today. It is honestly impossible to talk about athletic NBA plays without starting right here. Number 2. Michael Jordan takes off from the free throw line. For our second spot, we head back to one of the most iconic leaps in the history of the sport. A moment frozen forever in a photo that almost every basketball fan has seen. On February 6, 1988, the league's best dunkers gathered at Chicago Stadium for the Slam Dunk Contest on All-Star Saturday. And Michael Jordan had the entire hometown crowd behind him as he went head-to-head with Dominique Wilkins. The two of them traded perfect scores all night long in what is still considered the greatest dunk contest ever held, with Wilkins bringing raw power and Jordan answering with pure grace. It all came down to Jordan's final attempt, and he knew he needed something special to take the title. He walked all the way to the opposite baseline, took a deep breath, and then sprinted the full length of the floor before lifting off from the free throw line, soaring through the air with his legs spread and the ball cocked behind his head. He hung there for what felt like an impossibly long time before slamming it home for a perfect 50 and the win. The image of Jordan flying from the line, tongue out and arm fully extended, became one of the most famous photos in the entire history of the game. He actually borrowed the idea from Julius Erving, who he spotted in the crowd and who reminded him to take off from the line, something Jordan later called the best advice he got all day. It sealed his second straight dunk title, and he never entered the contest again. It remains the single play most people picture when they think of Jordan defying gravity. Number 3. LeBron James chases down the block in Game 7 of the Finals. Coming in at number 3 is a moment that is a little different from the rest, because the most athletic play of the bunch happened on the defensive end with a championship hanging in the balance. It came on June 19, 2016, in Game 7 of the NBA Finals at Oracle Arena, where LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers were locked in a war with the 73-win Golden State Warriors. The score was tied at 89 with under 2 minutes left, and after a Cleveland miss, the Warriors took off the other way on a fast break that looked like a sure 2 points. Andre Iguodala got the ball back from Stephen Curry and went up for a layup with nobody between him and the rim. And the whole arena was already rising to celebrate. Out of nowhere, LeBron came flying in from behind after sprinting the entire length of the floor, and he pinned Iguodala's shot clean against the backboard with one of the most perfectly timed blocks anyone has ever seen. The building went silent because everybody understood they had just watched something that should not have been possible. Less than a minute later, Kyrie Irving hit the go-ahead 3 right over Curry, and the Cavaliers closed it out to win the franchise its first ever title and end a 52-year championship drought for the city of Cleveland. LeBron was named Finals MVP after leading both teams in every major statistic for the entire series. People always talk about the dunks, but this chase-down block proved that elite athleticism can decide a title just as easily on the defensive end. It is the rare athletic play that will be remembered as much for its timing as for its raw power. Number 4. Zach Lavine and Aaron Gordon push each other to the limit. Our fourth moment takes us back to the dunk contest for a night so good that it basically broke the scoreboard. On February 13, 2016, the best leapers in the league gathered in Toronto for All-Star Saturday, and what followed between Zach Lavine and Aaron Gordon is widely considered the greatest dunk contest of all time. Lavine, the defending champion, came out and threw down a windmill from the free throw line that looked like something out of a video game, while Gordon answered by grabbing the ball from the Orlando mascot, who was spinning around on a hoverboard and finishing with a smooth 360. Then, Gordon delivered the dunk everyone still remembers, hanging in the air and passing the ball underneath both of his legs before slamming it home, a move so creative that nobody could believe it actually happened. The two of them traded perfect 50s back and forth so many times that the judges ran out of ways to separate them, and the contest had to go to multiple tiebreaker rounds. Finally, with both men running out of ideas, Lavine reached into his bag one more time and pulled off a between-the-legs dunk from a step inside the free throw line, a dunk he later admitted he had never even attempted before that night. It was just enough to edge out Gordon and give Lavine his second straight title, though he immediately grabbed the mic and suggested the two of them should have just shared it. The whole night raised the bar for what was even possible in the contest, with both guys hitting dunks on the very first try that most people need several attempts to land. It stands as the ultimate showcase of pure leaping ability and creativity. Number 5. Shaun Kemp posterizes Alton Lister. To round out the list, we have something a little different, because instead of a graceful leap, it is a moment of pure power and attitude that turned into one of the most legendary posters in league history. It happened on April 30th, 1992, during Game 4 of a heated first-round playoff series between the Seattle Supersonics and the Golden State Warriors, with Seattle looking to close things out on their home floor. There was real bad blood in this series, because a couple of games earlier Shaun Kemp and Warriors center Alton Lister had gotten tangled up after a hard foul, and Kemp had been waiting for his chance to get even ever since. Midway through the second quarter, that chance finally arrived, when Kemp caught the ball out near the three-point line, took a single dribble, and barreled straight down the lane with a full head of steam. The 7-foot Lister stepped in to take a charge and try to stop him, which turned out to be a huge mistake. Kemp went up, cocked the ball back, and threw down a thunderous one-handed dunk right over the top of him, sending Lister crashing to the floor in front of the entire crowd. Then came the part that made it immortal, as Kemp crouched down and pointed directly at the fallen Lister, delivering what might be the most famous celebration in the history of dunking. The play earned the nickname the Lister Blister and is still shown on every Supersonics highlight reel decades later. The Sonics ended up winning the game and advancing to the next round, and a 22-year-old Kemp announced himself to the league as one of the most ferocious athletes it had ever seen. It is the perfect way to close out a list celebrating the most explosive side of basketball.